Good morning, and thank you all for joining us. As we begin this morning's presentation, please welcome our Senior Vice President of the Bethlehem Initiatives for the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce, Tammy Wendling.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it for them. It's always great when they can be with us. So thank you and welcome to the State of the Schools Address with Dr. Jack Silva. Thank you for being here with us this morning, and thank you to Category 4 who sang with us out in the lobby, and the Hurricanes in here today, and together they've come together to just provide some more morning joy for you all. So thank you so much. I also promised I would plug their musical. Tonight is opening night, and these singers are all a part of the Music Man presented by Liberty High School's theater company. So make sure you go and see their show all weekend long. And finally, thank you to their director, Julie Wodrinski, for her time and dedication to the school district. Thank you. This collaboration today with the Bethlehem Area School District holds immense significance for our chamber. It presents a remarkable chance for us to foster connections between the very heart of our business community and our leaders and the educational leaders who are shaping the future workforce. As we get started, I'd like to acknowledge our elected officials here today and dignitaries who have joined us. Please raise your hand or stand or give a wave, whatever you want to do. First, let's acknowledge State Representative Steve Samuelson. Mayor J. William Reynolds. Representing Senator Bob Casey, Amy Cozy. Representing Congresswoman Susan Wild, Megan Best. And representing Senator Lisa Boscola, Joe Kelly. We also have some Bethlehem Area School District board members with us. I'd also like to acknowledge first Shannon Patrick, Dr. Kim Shively, Dr. Karen Beth Cooley, Michael Rischuti, and Dr. Sheila White. Now, if you haven't done so already, I'd like to direct everyone to the QR code behind me. Please take a moment to scan this QR code for today's digital program. Here you can read more about our school district leaders and find out more from our sponsors. And speaking of, we are incredibly grateful for our sponsors and their invaluable support, which has been instrumental in allowing us to offer this event alongside of our school district and to bring together those invested in building a brighter future for Bethlehem. First, let's thank our gold sponsor, ArtsQuest. Thank you, Cassie, Emily, Brett, and the entire team here for their generous support and for hosting us here in this theater. It's an exciting space for us to deliver this important message, so thank you. Next, let's hear it for Capital Blue Cross. Thank you to Vicki, Austin, Henry, and the entire team for being with us today. And to Lehigh University. Adrian, you and your team, thank you so much for joining us. And let's keep it going for our silver sponsors, Alloy 5, who also has some exciting things happening with the school district. BSI Corporate Benefits, thank you for being with us. Dewey Engineering, and St. Luke's University Health Network. And next, our bronze sponsors, Just Born Quality Confections, PSCCU, Service Electric Business, and TWG Security. And I'd also like to thank our community partners here with us today. First, the City of Bethlehem. And of course, the Bethlehem Area School District. And Lehigh Valley with Love, George is around, so if you see him, make sure you smile. He'll be on social media later. Finally, I'd like to ask for one last round of applause for the entire chamber board here, our board members here with us today, and for our staff for assisting. Now, I'm excited to introduce an incredible mentor and leader in our community. She is the chair of the Bethlehem Chamber's Board of Directors and owner of A & Lux Apparel, located in historic downtown Bethlehem. Guests, please welcome Anne-Marie Sapinski.
morning, everyone. At the helm of the Bethlehem Area School District's educational landscape, we find our new superintendent of schools, Dr. Jack Silva, a tireless advocate for student success. He is a champion for our students, both current and future, and a champion for collaboration, working together with the school board, parents, and our community. At the heart of it all, Dr. Silva is dedicated to fostering a strong, inclusive environment where every student can thrive and reach their full potential. Graduating from Liberty High School in 1982, Dr. Silva has climbed the educational ladder, bringing a wealth of experience to the role. Having served in public education for 37 years, he's been a social studies teacher, department chair, instructional coach, assistant principal, director of K-12 education, assistant superintendent, and chief academic officer, and now our superintendent of schools for the Bethlehem Area School District. Dr. Silva has received many academic and leadership awards, including the Excellence in Educational Leadership Award from the University Council for Educational Administration and the Lehigh University School Study Council. He was also inducted into the Council of Champions by the National Campaign for Grade Level Reading for his exemplary service to the Lehigh Valley. Dr. Silva is recognized as a catalyst in the national conversation about school and district leadership in support of effective reading instruction. Dr. Silva received numerous service awards and recognitions from local organizations such as Music Fest, Lehigh University, and St. Luke's University Health Network. He is proud to serve on the board of directors for the United Way of the Greater Lehigh Valley, New Bethany Ministries, and Centennial School of Lehigh University. Not only does Dr. Silva devote his career to Bethlehem, Bethlehem is also home. I am very proud to welcome Dr. Silva to the stage, our new superintendent.
Some thank yous are in order, I guess. Thank you, Anne Marie, for that introduction. I think more than anything, that shares that I'm a little older in this position, so thank you. Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Tammy from the Chamber, for all their hard work putting this event together. And also thank you, of course, to Mrs. Clymer and Mrs. Vargas, who work in my office, who make sure I show up at the right place at the right time. So, good job. If I haven't been formally introduced to you, I'm Jack Silva, and since July, I'm the superintendent of schools of the Bethlehem Area School District. And if you remember nothing else, I love my job, and I love my community. Today, I want to just walk us through, first, a little bit of an introduction of myself so that you know the context of why I do what I do, and why I believe what I believe. But then more importantly, about the priorities of the Bethlehem Area School District moving forward. In that discussion, I'll be joined by our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Maureen Leeson, who will talk a little bit more about our academic programming, and then we'll finish up with some a look towards the future. So, first of all, thank you for being here. I know early morning, welcome to period one, right? And I know some of you missed a lot of period ones while you were in high school, so that makes me doubly appreciate you being here today to listen to school stuff, okay? So first, and not as important, and embarrassingly so, a little bit about me. Okay, now, here's the timeline. I'm going to walk across the stage. There's me in my cool hat when I was a little kid. What you should know is that my parents and my brother and sister and I started life growing up on a two-bedroom apartment on the top of Corpix Department Store on 4th Street in South Bethlehem, which was, pretty typical, for Bethlehem kids. But I think somewhere along the line, my mom put her foot down and decided we needed to have more space. So when I was 2 years old, my dad moved us to a paradise, suburban paradise, only 2 miles away, Fountain Hill, Pennsylvania. And I've been there the rest of my life. So I'm a lifelong resident of the 18015 area code. When we moved to Fountain Hill, life was good, but I think I was affected very dramatically the following year when my father passed away suddenly. And that pretty much left my mother and my brother, my sister, and me to really face the future together. And I don't lament that. I was very fortunate to have the best mother in the world, and a large extended family, and a very strong and caring community. Like many Bethlehem kids, I was a playground kid during the summer. I was a pool kid. I was a boys club kid. And I love school activities. And the community people that circled around me really made it possible for me to live my life and to really excel. My mother always told me, Jack, you thank Mrs. Moser down at the playground. You make sure that you tell your coach how much you appreciate. My mom was the kind of person that would bake a cake and make me take it to the playground to show appreciation to the playground supervisor. Money might have been a little tight sometimes, but, I lived a great life. I had great friends. There we are watching Super Bowl 10. That's me in the middle. And my 2 lifelong friends who I met in kindergarten, Gus and Joe, who are still my best friends. Moving across, I played for the Brockville basketball team, of which I'm very proud of having undefeated city champions on page 113 of the Memories of Bethlehem book. And I also wore that really cool-looking monochrome baseball uniform at Liberty High School because I went to Fountain Hill Elementary School, Brockville, then junior high school, and then Liberty High School. And I graduated in 1982. That's my graduation picture, looking entirely too serious, which I probably was at the time. But that's the beginning of me. The adult me, not as interesting. Luckily for me, I found my way into education. After that graduation picture, I faced the reality that Bethlehem had an unemployment rate of 13.3% the day I graduated. And I won't mention the name of my guidance counselor, but he was saying, you might want to expand your horizons a little bit. So for me, that meant I have to really go out of my comfort zone. Just going over to the north side was out of my comfort zone at that time. And I went to Penn State University because they had a very good football team. And I liked it there, but I didn't like it as much as home. I came back home. I ended up getting a great teaching job, originally in the Central Buck School District and eventually the Souderton School District, where my life as a teacher and building administrator took place. But I always lived in Bethlehem, and I still hung out with all my friends. There we are, a lot older, a lot bigger, watching Super Bowl 50. As we do all the time. I worked my way through the educational landscape. Took on as many different positions as I could have. Was very well served by Lehigh University in the leadership program where I got my doctorate. And then in 2010, my old friend, Joe Roy, who we had been friends for many years as principals, and we went to Lehigh together, called me and said, "Hey Jack, what do you think about coming to Bethlehem?" I said, "What do you mean? I'm already here. Like, I already live here." He goes, "No, I'm applying to be superintendent. What would you think about coming together?" I said, "I don't know." And I thought, yeah, why not? Here's that opportunity I have to pay it forward for the benefit of the community that has supported me. So there we are, the yin and the yang for the last 13 years, doing our thing. And I have had the dream of being able to reconcile my personal life and my professional life at the same time. I live my best life in the Bethlehem Area School District and in the Bethlehem community. And I do it with my I couldn't be more blessed with my family. 35 years in November with Kathy. And my kids, who both went through the same school district path as me. There's my wife, my daughter Claire, who's 30. My cat Ivy, who's 2. And my son Tony, who towers above all of us and is hopefully a good city employee right now in the city of Bethlehem. So that's sort of a 3-minute way of getting what's this guy like? You know, what's in his head as he's talking about things, and how we, as I try to do, reconcile all that into something that I boil down to just one hashtag: BASD community. BASD and the community together. There is no difference between the Bethlehem city, the city community of Bethlehem, and the Bethlehem Area School District, and we like it that way. Bethlehem is not the place that I graduated from at Liberty High School in 1982. Right now it has one of the hottest zip codes in the country. It has economic development that we hear is leading the state, and we see that growing presence both in the region but also around the country as people know and recognize how cool Bethlehem is. Bethlehem is a place where we've progressively leaned forward. You can be your authentic self here. You can be a builder who dreams and a dreamer who builds in Bethlehem and keep things moving forward. It's a can-do place. So that, I've always believed that element of the community transcends itself into the identity and DNA of the Bethlehem Area School District. That's why it's been so important for us to build those connections between the community and the school district over the years. It reinforces what's really special about our community. Dr. Leeson and I interview a lot of people who want to come to the Bethlehem Area School District, and they're looking for the total package: the life in our community and high quality schools. And that is possible because of the support of our community. We have an advocate on our side. Right there he is. You could not evidence of that relationship with the community represented through our graduates. There is no truth to the rumor that you have to be a graduate of the Bethlehem Area School District to serve as mayor of Bethlehem, but it certainly helps. So whether it's working with Mayor Reynolds or prior Mayor Donchez or others, we do have a strong connection to our community in a mutually reinforcing way. So, what does that all mean about the state of the Bethlehem Area School District? And I'm here to report this morning that the state of the school district is hopeful, just like the community that it serves. Whether that is hopeful in the sense of we've come through some really tough times in education. Don't get me wrong, right? It's been tough. Student achievement during the years of the pandemic fell off 10, 15%. Other factors have contributed to it, as well as, you know, when schools of high need have things that affect their system, they are disproportionately affected. So we are seeing a disparity of outcomes that we don't like to see in Bethlehem. But we're through, and we're rebuilding on it, and we are taking the next step forward with some very key priorities. Oops. I'd like to spend a little bit of time, and I'll be eventually joined by Dr. Leeson, talking about what those 4 priorities are. And for the people who are working in the Bethlehem Area School District, they've heard this so many times that they could probably mouth some of the message that I'm giving. So thank you for listening, and they are the ones who are really operationalizing these priorities and are the reason why we're so hopeful. So the first of the 4 priorities, we're ready? Because at the end of this presentation, I'm going to point to you and say, what are the 4 priorities of the Bethlehem Area School District? Because that's important for you to know. All right. The first one, and the most foundational one, is school safety and positive school culture. Notice that's one term with an ampersand in the middle because I view those as 2 sides of the same coin. You have to have school safety. And for most of us, we think about that only when it's in the newspaper and things go wrong, right? And that is a factor. You know, we need to have good relationships with Bethlehem Police Department for our emergency system, and we have great SROs in our schools and all the things that we need to cooperate just to be physically safe. We have the cameras, the door locks, all those other things that happen. But if you rely simply on just the hardware or just the police department, you will never have a safe school, and you will probably suffer in terms of school culture. So we also have ways of students being involved in supporting safety. I bet you don't know that students can report through confidential apps things like safe to say or handle with care. When something is happening outside of school that inevitably is going to get drugged into school, it gives us a heads up to prevent those things from happening, or at least investigate it. So technology is part of our school safety. Supervision, whether it's in the SROs or our very talented principals and assistant principals. We've beefed up our administration over the last few years so that we can address both academics and school safety. You can't just do that outside of the classroom. Our Bethlehem Area School District has some frameworks that we use for the students' social emotional learning, which I think all of you know is the positive school culture part. So if you're a kid in the Bethlehem Area School District, in Tier 1, which means everyone gets it, we are a leader in e-school to teach those qualities of positive citizenship, executive functioning, goal setting in our kids K-8. We're also a restorative practices school district based off of restorative justice, where students can not just repair the harm they have, but move past it, rather than relying upon the discipline system with punitive consequences for students. When you start doing that, and then you also support them with our wellness centers and our mental health supports, which many of you support us, that ecosystem starts to work on school safety and positive school culture. And I'm here to report that I'm a numbers guy. I like to look at data and I like to see how we're making progress. So whether you look at it in terms of how students are participating, code of conduct, positive behaviors, each year is getting better. And at mid-year, we're even better than last year. It took a dip during the pandemic. Now we're on our way back and it's headed in the right direction. So you have to have that. School culture eats teaching and learning for lunch if it doesn't exist on a foundation of positive school culture. Next. This one is a sleeper issue that not many people appreciate, but is critically important. If kids feel safe and in a positive school culture, they should come to school. But during the pandemic, we saw student attendance take a hit. There's two types of attendance. There's average daily attendance. That's what percentage of kids come to school on a daily basis. Typical Liberty High School, about 90%. Higher on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, maybe a little lower on a Friday, right? But given normal circumstances, we should have 6 to 9% of students not in school. That's pretty typical, right? That's average daily attendance. That has gone down a little bit, but that's not the best measure to look at. The most serious challenge to student attendance is in what we call chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism is when a student misses 10% or more of the school year, for whatever reason. They were sick, they were college visits, doing a whole bunch, but they just weren't in class, they weren't in school. 10%. 180 school days, 10% of that is 18 days. 9 months, 2 days a month, 1 day every 2 weeks. During the pandemic, we told kids don't come to school, or come to school every other day. And too many students have taken that, and some families have taken that to mean that not school is optional, but I can judge a little bit better for myself as a student whether I should be attending that day. And some of the things that I would never think of telling my parents and things you would never think about telling your parents, students are sort of convincing that it's okay to miss school. It's not okay to miss school, okay? All of the things that are important for students who need school, the connections, the social development, the finding your interests in the activities we have, those are the things that help students build identity, solve their anxiety issues, mental health issues. That's where it happens. Not on your bed looking at your computer hour after hour at digital resources. Right? All right, he's the cranky old guy talking. But school is where we need our students. And our chronic absenteeism is still significant. The year after the pandemic, or the year after the closure, it's hard to tell attendance because it was rough, it was hard to calculate, but we believe it was around low 40% of our students were chronically absent. The following year, when we were like half in, half out, it was in the 30s, mid-30s. Then they came back the next year with the mask and the whole thing and a lot of the challenges, got down into the upper 20s. Now, I'm glad to say, we're hopeful that the state of the district is, we're down into the low 20s. That's still too high. When we were pre-pandemic, 15% was considered a high chronic absentee rate. I remember the United Way pushing strong, get to school, don't miss more than 5 days. So we are adjusting to that, and we are doing all we have, all the things we know we can do to have safety, positive culture, to get kids to school. I am 100% confident if we get kids to school, we will be successful with them. That our services are there and our sense of community is there. So your reinforcing of that messaging is an important matter. We do those things to set the foundation, to set the floor, so that our primary purpose in school is teaching and learning, and students being able to do what they need to do to eventually get the career in college readiness. And that took a hit too. Luckily for me, when I became superintendent, it was very clear to me that we needed an assistant superintendent who was going to be able to really accept these challenges and really emphasize grade level work for grade level kids. So it's at this time I'd like to introduce the assistant superintendent of the Bethlehem Area School District, my partner in crime in leading the district, Dr. Maureen Leeson.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. I see so many friendly faces in the audience. And I have a confession to make. I love teaching and learning. So you're going to get a little bit of my inner teacher coming out in a little bit. And so I'm excited to be with all of you. So a little bit about me. It's a big picture of my face. My name's Maureen Leeson. I'm a really proud graduate of Liberty High School. A little shout out to Liberty. Don't worry, Freedom, you'll have a moment in a second. I am a proud product of Liberty High School. After going to school, I went to college and I got a bachelor's degree in biology, minor in chemistry, and got my teaching certificate, and I was very proud to return to Liberty High School as a science teacher, where I then taught biology, chemistry, and physics, along with a lot of different fun electives. And so after a couple years of teaching at Liberty, I had the opportunity to go to my father's alma mater, Freedom High School, where I served as an administrator. So shout out to all the Freedom fans. We love them both equally. And from Freedom, I had the opportunity to begin working at our central office, and then Dr. Silva very kindly asked me to join him as assistant superintendent, and I got to tell you, I have one of the best jobs in the entire world, and I'm so lucky to be with you this morning to talk to you a little bit about it. I would say more importantly, I'm a proud mom of 2, almost 3 little girls. We have Bridget right there. She's the little girl who's 4. This morning as I was walking out the door, she's going, oh, my shirt is too tight, it's too tight, it's too tight. And my husband is the best girl dad. And he goes, it's not too tight, it's form-fitting. So he's an amazing girl dad. And then the little one I'm holding, she's 2 now, that's Maeve, and she's just a love bug. So that's a little bit about me. So let's talk a little bit about academics, and let's talk about, we have this undeniable connection with the community. And where that connection is built is in our students doing grade level work. That we have an innate commitment to the school district, to the community, to the city of Bethlehem and its greater community, that we deliver to our students grade level skills, and our students can do those, and they evidence that they can do grade level work. And so, as I mentioned before, I was a science teacher, so here I am teaching a reading lesson to a small group. And you might think, well, oh, science, No, you should have seen me sweating as I was preparing for it, and I remember saying to one of my colleagues, okay, let's run through this, let's practice the lesson, let's make sure we're prepared. But back in 2015, 2016, we started some very important work. And that was Bethlehem saying, our reading scores are not where they need to be. And I have to give Dr. Silva, Ms. Kim Harper, and a lot of our leadership in the school district a lot of credit for the work they have done since then. Since then, and it's been quite a journey, we have said we will have all students reading by grade 3. And we have been leaders on a national level of that work. You are hearing more of that conversation happening across the country, but I want you to know that who are we citing in the podcasts and in the articles, etc.? They're citing Bethlehem Area School District and the great work that Kim Harper and Dr. Silva has done, because we believe all students deserve grade level skills to do grade level work. We believe that across the board. We believe that, and we're emphasizing that in all content areas. And I want to share with you some of the good work we've done over the past 4.5 years. So starting about 4.5 years ago, that would be pre-pandemic, we started talking about assessment and grading. Assessment and grading is one of the things we do, but man, it's one of the most important things that we do. And we started talking about what is the purpose of grades. And we defined exactly what grades are in the Bethlehem Area School District. And what they are is the primary communication tool about what students know and are able to do. Thus, it is one of the most critical pieces that we can use as evidence for students doing grade level skills to do grade level work. And so we've updated our report card significantly. We've also updated our assessment and grading practices. This is in large part to the great leadership that we have in our school district, the work of our principals, our teacher leaders, our students have this year taken this on. And so what we believe is that the report card and grades should be our primary means of communication to parents about what their child knows and is able to do. Previously, and you're probably familiar with that old report card, it just said, Algebra 1, C+, Biology, A. Well, what does that mean? And as we were unpacking what does that mean, we were uncovering that, well, that means something different based off the individual student. And I'll use a sports analogy. So, when we sometimes join a sports team, we have that kid with natural talent, but doesn't always have maybe the best work ethic associated with that. They're not always showing up to practice on time, etc. And then we have that kid, they show up, they try hard, they do everything they ask, they don't make any points in the game. That was more like me. But somehow they were both averaging out to a B. So what does that mean? Well, we have to separate those cognitive and non-cognitive factors out. And so what we now have is an achievement grade that represents only what students know and are able to do. And we've said we value what we call academic support factors, those habits of learning that support a student's overall achievement. And we believe that student engagement and student responsibility are critical to a child's success. So critical that we need to report on them. And so I'll show you in a moment those rubrics, but they're also critical to preparing the next workforce for the Bethlehem community. The other thing that we've done is, and we only have one comment on this particular example, but as students have gotten their marking period 1, their marking period 2 report cards, every single course has a personalized comment. Every single course, the child gets specific and direct feedback from their teacher, and parents get to read, oh, this is what you learned this marking period. Oh, okay, that's helpful. Oh, this is how you did in your achievement grade. Okay, more information than just boiling it down to a letter or to a number. So we're really proud to be leaders on that front as well. And again, as we've had these conversations, it really has prompted us to have much deeper levels of discussion about instructional design and how can we be best meeting the needs of our students. So just very quickly, here's one of our rubrics for responsibility that we use across all grade levels 6 to 12. And before I explain it further, we're gonna do a little activity. So I already gave 2 people a heads up that I'm gonna ask Justin Amon and Candy to come on down. And once I finish, they're gonna be helping out, and just be glad, I didn't pick you, I picked them. They're gonna represent you. So as I was mentioning before, as we prepare the next community, as we prepare the next workforce in Bethlehem, we're having students on a regular basis self-assess, and students assessing students on how are they prepared for class. Are they prepared, and are they bringing their work completed? Are they having respectful interactions? Do students have on-task behavior? Do they have cooperative learning? Hey, we need people to be able to work together when they show up, right? We need people that are prepared. We need a strong workforce, and we're talking about those things in class, and we believe they're so important. We're reporting on that. We also want to make sure we're not having that hodgepodge grade that just represents so many different things that it's unclear. We're trying to bring clarity to what students know and are able to do, and we are really proud of the work we're doing in Bethlehem Area School District. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, I am a teacher. You're never going to be able to scrub that out of me, and I'm incredibly grateful to Candy and Justin, but we're all going to do this one. So sit up a little straighter, because you are in math class now. All right. You're going to do great. All right. So here we go. You don't have to do anything. Just in your minds, think on this number line, where would 1 billion go on a timeline, or a number line from 0 to 1 trillion? So I'm going to use my teacher wait time. I'm going to give it 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now turn and talk to your neighbor and share your spot. Come on up, Candy. Come on up, Justin. Oh, Justin, don't steal it. All right. Come on up, Justin and Candy. Between 0 and a trillion, you pick the spot by standing there on the line. Go ahead. All right. Is that our spot? That's all right. All right. First off, let's give Candy and Justin a huge round of applause. They're doing this and we're not. All right. So 0 to a trillion. I'm going to tell you what the answer is, but first I'm going to tell you why this is important. Giving students grade level skills to do grade level work is so critical, not just because of the tests, not just because we're in math class. This concept is so much more important beyond math class because, ladies and gentlemen, these are 3 headlines I pulled from the past couple weeks where Biden's talking about a $7.3 trillion budget. We've got the U.S. national debt is rising by $1 trillion every 100 days. NASA is doing some work that costs $800 million. We as consumers, we as citizens need to have a better awareness and understanding and number sense about what is going on. And so as we talk about doing grade level work for grade level students, this is why, is we need to make sure we're putting the best product out into the community. So if I go backwards, just a little math piece here. So 1 billion would be 1/1000th of a trillion. So right here, on our number line would be 1 billion. So anyway, thank you, Candy. Thank you, and with that, I'm going to thank all of you for your participation and turn it back over to Dr. Silva.
Yeah, I told you she was special. She does a great job. When Candy and Justin came down, I thought I was watching an episode of The Price is Right. I know I'm a sit day at home when you're watching The Price is Right. All right, so that's 3 priorities, right? Back to our quiz. 1, school safety and positive school culture. 2, improving student attendance. 3, grade level work for grade level kids. Right? So far, those are the 3. I view that grade level work as the covenant between the community and the school system. If you're 8 years old and you're in 3rd grade, I think it's very reasonable for everyone who loves that child to be expecting that he or she is experiencing 3rd grade work. And when they're not getting there, the answer is not to lower the expectation, it's to increase the amount of support. And that's our strategy in the Bethlehem Area School District. We have a lot of students that need support. And luckily for us, our school board has been very generous in understanding that. We are accountable to that, but we can't shrink from grade level expectations, whether it's how we report them on a report card, how we analyze our success in our school's data. That is really at the heart and is a priority of our school system. Now, the 4th priority is that every graduate of the Bethlehem Area School District should leave Liberty or Freedom High School with post-secondary credentials. Okay? When I graduated and I walked across the stage and I shook Mr. Klein's hand and walked off, I thought, that's great, 27 credits in the bank, high school diploma, and then, now what? I, at that time, just decided, okay, Penn State has a very good football team, I'm going to go there. And luckily for me, it worked out. But I did not have a whole lot of credentials for what came next. For those of you who have teenagers or college-age students, you're going to figure out right away, that they need a little bit more direction as they're entering into their post-secondary world than we ever had. So, that's okay. If you have grade level skills getting up in 10th grade, you can do what a 10th grader should be able to do, you're ready to advance some of your post-secondary goals to your 11th and 12th grade year. So if you're going to be going in a 4-year college direction, hey, take a dual enrollment course with Dr. Ruth at Northampton Community College or at Lehigh or something, and pass it. That's a credential that you're college ready. Or take an advanced placement exam and score a 3 or better on it. That shows the admission folks that you're college ready. How about a job shadow? How about an internship? How about an apprenticeship? How about completing your cluster at the Bethlehem Vocational Technical School and get an industry certification? How about an EMT license? Do something, kid, to make sure that whatever your path is you're working towards it. You need a running start out of high school these days, and we have to give credentials to those students. The good news is we do that pretty well, some areas, but it's not as coherent. And so as we continue moving in that direction towards our 4th goal, having all students have credentials, they should be shaking Mrs. Sage's hand or Dr. Bailey's hand as they're walking off with a lot more confidence that they're going to be serving this BASD community. Now, those are the 4 priorities. Doesn't mean all the other things that make the Bethlehem Area School District great won't continue to happen. We saw a little bit of that with the Hurricanes in Category 4. We have the very best art and music and related arts curriculum. Joe Anthus, our supervisor, we have a supervisor just for the arts, and he does a great job connecting it with the community. Just like Mrs. Harper does a great job on literacy, Dr. Anthus, who many of you know, has been working very closely with a lot of our community partners. So I thank them. Many of you are here. The Bethlehem Area School District is recognized for its arts program. Don't take it from me, from the Kennedy Center. And we have an agreement among the City of Bethlehem, thank you Mayor Reynolds, and the Zollner Arts Center, thank you Mr. Wilson, and the Bethlehem Area School District convene and have been awarded the Any Given Child designation. There are only, I think, 28 cities across the United States that get that designation. And it helps us because it synergizes, instead of competing, it brings together under that banner the actions of our community arts program. So whether it's Touchstone Theater, ArtsQuest, all of the partners you see up there. We have a framework that takes the BASD community and makes it a collaborative effort towards the student success in the arts. We're very proud of that. Of course, the Liberty High School Band and the high school program is very robust. I challenge you to come to the theater productions of Music Man at 42nd Street. See if you can get a ticket, because they're pretty big productions. And then it's only a little bit of a skip and a jump to all those great things that you see in the springtime with spring concerts and musicals with the ultimate graduation. So that grandness, that swagger, that's the BASD swagger. That's important to us, and that will always be there. Facilities. I bet you don't know the Bethlehem Area School District, which has 13,000 students spread out over 22 schools, owns 25 buildings altogether, and the collective real estate value of that is over $500 million. The district has an annual $350 million budget every year that has to be balanced, that feeds thousands of kids every day, drives kids over 10,000 miles a day collectively in buses. Every day, Mr. Stein's team drives the total amount of miles in Bethlehem, goes from Disneyland to Disney World back to the Bethlehem Area School District bus depot, and we would still need 1,000 miles. We're not a bus company, but we have a huge function. We're not a caterer or a catering organization, but we serve breakfast and lunch in thousands of kids every day. We're not a property management company, but we have a huge capital plan that we use to strategically improve or replace our facilities. That has also been a success lately. We've upgraded a lot of our elementary schools with federal dollars. Don't let anybody tell you those federal dollars weren't important, because we were able to upgrade all of our elementary plans that were on the capital plan without increasing taxes. So that went directly to support our community. We are making investments now in our secondary schools, and when you can't fix it or you can't replace it, at some point you have to replace it. You have to make sure you build new. So right now we are in the process, our capital plan is emphasizing the construction of a new Fountain Hill Elementary School. I know what you're thinking. Hey Jack, you're from Fountain Hill. How does Fountain Hill get up to the top? It has nothing to do with it, all right? Just look. But that has been a long road to get there. And we are now working with Alloy 5 on going from schematic design to design development and working with the borough to make sure that that school, which has been on the flight path for a long time, has that finished. Thank you to Mr. Aristokezian, our CFO, and our working with our school board. Our long-term debt picture, right? You can't take out mortgages all the time if you don't have the ability to wrap that debt around your existing debt, have enough fund balance that's dedicated to things. We're in good shape. So we'll be able to do this project, and then we'll be able to take a look at some of the other construction projects. So managing facilities, the investment that our community has in that portfolio of real estate, is something that we're also making progress on. I leave this as the last slide. We do these things not because that's just what schools do. One of the visions, or a vision, that really motivates me, and I believe motivates everyone in the Bethlehem Area School District, is that we will eliminate race and family income as reliable predictors of school success by guaranteeing equitable access to opportunities for learning and growth. That's part of that DNA business I was talking about in our city. I am proud that this community, and all of you, during the time of very stressful school board meetings around the country and even around the Lehigh Valley, we didn't go there. Our board knew what it believed in, our district knows what it believes in, our community supports our schools, and people were not telling me, oh, we have to take these books out because we don't want to make some kids feel bad. No. We know that students have to be their authentic selves when they come to our school system. Could you imagine what it would be like for 13 consecutive years not being able to be yourself among your peers and in your classroom, and then someone tells you you're supposed to participate and you're supposed to learn and you're supposed to excel? That got very wobbly in America. It never got wobbly here. And I think it's because of the relationship with our community. We've been able to make progress. Now, don't get me wrong. We have our challenges. All those are 4 priorities because we need them, right? We're still recovering. We need to get back to where we were. But I have never been more optimistic about the state of the Bethlehem Area School District. If we do those 4 priorities and stay on course, we'll be doing school extremely well. We don't need to divert and do something different. I don't want kids sitting in front of, sitting on their bed looking at their computer screen over. We know what that resulted in. We need to accentuate our community and our purpose in our school system. And we are there. And you're here because of that. So we will get to that vision. Whether that's me talking, because I'm living proof of that. I am living proof. And unfortunately, we still are not at that vision. We have glimpses of it. We see every once in a while when we transcend those issues, and those are the ones we really, really celebrate. So I said earlier, Bethlehem is a city of builders who are dreamers, and dreamers who are builders. We're sitting in a place that when I was a teenager and a young adult was a post-industrial brownfield wasteland. And it turned it into this. No, our unemployment rate is no longer 13.3%. Everyone wants to be here and work here now. So here's our opportunity, right? That vision is in something that is beyond our grasp. We just have to reach for it. And we have the best team. I'm honored to serve and to provide that energy and provide that leadership to our remarkable group of administrators, teachers, and everybody in our BASD community, which includes you, our partners. So thank you very much. That's all you, Tammy.
All right, let's have a big round of applause. Dr. Silva, thank you so much for sharing this message with our district community. This was a really great presentation. So what's next for the Bethlehem Chamber? I will tell you. Our State of the City address with Mayor J. William Reynolds will be here on April 11th at ArtsQuest. Any information about that, please come and see us. I just want to say thank you again for being here with us and for sharing your morning with us. And we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.